Do you remember those knitting needles that I forged? Those were actually my audition for the very first World Championship in heavy metal knitting. It sounded like such a wonderfully weird breaking of stereotypes that I just had to give it a go. And when I heard I got into the finals, that were being held in Finland in a small town near the Russian border, I thought it was the perfect reason to go on an adventure. So I did. A short flight took me to Helsinki, but I wasn't there yet. I got on board a high-speed train that took me through the beautiful Finnish forest to Joensuu, where the event was actually held. The trip lasted 4.5 hours and I enjoyed every minute of it. The views were fantastic, there was a restaurant on board, and just look at those chairs. The next morning, all the finalists were invited for breakfast and we got a first glimpse of what we were in for. Fantastic hospitality, a very excited organizing team, several TV stations, and a group of participants from across the world that had no plan or expectations other than just having a load of fun. Each of us would have 1 minute to show off our best knitting moves on stage with a live heavy metal band. We checked out the stage, met the band, and then retreated backstage to prepare. We drew numbers that determined in what order we would perform and to what song. And then there was nothing left to do but just get dressed and knit. There were drinks, snacks, and a room full of knitters that know how to have fun, so backstage quickly turned into the best knitting club I've ever been to. Since I couldn't bring a power hammer, I had to think of something else to do on stage. I still wanted to break my wooden knitting needles, so I decided to make a backstrap for my forged needles. That way I could pull them out ninja style for a dramatic reveal. It was a pretty straightforward build. I used some black leather from a furniture sample set and cut it to shape. I punched holes in the corners and added eyelets. Then I stitched small pieces of elastic onto the leather to hold the needles. They'll have to cross, so the pieces for one need to be a bit longer than the pieces for the other. I covered up the elastic with 2 curved strips of leather. For the straps, I attached metal hooks to some webbing. I used my stunt double to figure out the right length. And then I sewed a piece of elastic in each of the straps to make it more comfortable to wear. And then it was my turn. I grabbed my knitting, put on my best poker face, and stepped out on stage. I can't remember much of the details after that, except that I was having a whole lot of fun. And that I had to stand up straight at some point, because I was getting dizzy from all the hat banging. If you want to see the full performances, I'll put a link in the description for you. Apparently the judges enjoyed my performance too, because I came in second place. First place went to Japan, who went all out with a guy dressed as a geisha attempting to knit, and a couple of sumo wrestlers. Third was taken by 9 Inch Needles, a wonderful group from the US that put on a great show. We toasted the amazing day backstage and went on to enjoy some drinks and more live music at an after party. At this point it felt like we had known each other for years and we had a great relaxing night. And that was it already. Time to go home. On the train back to Helsinki, I was finally able to watch everyone's performances, including my own, and process what actually happened. The whole trip was a surreal experience, filled with silliness, laughs, knitting, music, and a bunch of new friends. And a bunch of media. Turns out people enjoy a bit of weirdness. All I know is that I had an absolute blast. A big thank you to the organizers, the band, and of course the other finalists. You made this day as special as it was, and I will never forget it.
Heavy metalli huuto oli hei! Hei! Ja vielä hei! Näin se on. Kaikki on mahdollista, kun uskoo itseensä. Ja nyt tiimille kiitos.